It's true. How else am I going to do it? Okay, alright. I get a shot on the one. The key shot here is going to be on the one ball and getting on the two. We have very little margin of error to get on the two, so this is going to be a speed control tester right out of the gate. And if you listen carefully, you'll hear me explaining to Shirley what I'm thinking as I plan this whole rack. And planning the whole rack has created a little bit of debate both in person and at my channel, but I'm absolutely positive that this is one of the keys to playing good 9-ball and continuing to progress throughout your years of playing. Life becomes a whole lot easier when you can see it and feel it and believe it. And if you're not planning it, you're not seeing it, and therefore you're not feeling it, and you're not believing it. And that's a piss poor way to start a 9-ball rack. There's people out there who insist on being mentally lazy and seeing this issue as something that's incredibly complicated and a waste of time because chances are pretty good that your plan's going to change. But so what? Then you just replan the whole rack if that's necessary, but usually you just have to plan one or two balls to get back in line and on the path of your plan. So the whole kind of semi-debate started with players and instructors saying you should see 3 balls, that you should plan 3 balls at a time. And that was easy to prove nonsense. It should be at least 4 balls. But that's almost half the rack there, so you might as well plan all 9 balls. And chances are it's going to be right after the break, and there's going to be a ball or two in the corner pocket, so it's really just 7 or 8 balls. And this really is not that much work. I don't know why players think it's all this much work, but in the beginning, when you're first starting to play pool, you're struggling on thousands of different things, and the last thing you want to do is struggle mentally. So I understand the resistance, but it's really not a mental struggle, and players have to get this through their head. It's easy, and the longer you do it, the faster you become, and it just becomes second nature, like walking. Will it improve your pool game? There's absolutely no doubt it will progress your pool game nearly overnight if you stick with it and you push your mind just in the beginning to go a little bit further. So it's back to the rack, and again, the key shot is the 1 ball to the 2 because you have almost no margin of error here. You have to shoot this precise. Once you get through that, it's not exactly gravy and easy, but it's a lot easier than what it was when we first started this. If you can get through this, if you're a good player, if you're above average player, you should be able to run these out relatively easy. And it starts with seeing the pockets that you're shooting these balls in. And you'll hear me again as I'm talking to Shirley get a little bit hung up on the 6 from my angle where I'm standing and looking at this rack. I'm not so sure the 6 passes the 7, but it does. And therefore, I don't have to get from the 4 to the other side of the table to shoot the 6 in the bottom left-hand corner. I can shoot the 6 in the bottom right-hand corner, and that makes things a little bit easier here, and that should be apparent as we go through this rack. As you see the pockets for all these balls, you're automatically seeing the pattern and where you want to be on each shot. It's almost just completely subconscious. It's just automatically happening in your head. So let's go ahead and find the pockets for all these balls. 5 ball went on the break, so we're looking at 8 balls. Is all this drama necessary? Yeah. In a way, it kind of is. It's very dramatic to a pool player who's trying to up their game, and this is going to up your game 3 or 4 notches. It's dramatic, believe me. It's going to change your whole game, and all you have to do is learn how to believe in yourself, and that confidence will fire you over the moon. There's a couple of things I want to point out before we get started here, and I did manage to get a little bit of a weird angle on the 2 ball. My best course of action is to pull it back a little bit off the rail and actually bang into the 3 ball. And because of that, the plan changed, and I can't shoot the 3 ball in the top right hand corner, and I wind up shooting it in the left hand side pocket and go under the 4. So the 3 ball and the 4 ball plan changed, but after that, I'm right back in line on the main plan, and everything's going to go groovy. One more thing for the advanced player is when you're shooting the 8 ball, you'll see me choose to go 2 rails and put top on it, and why not just put a little bit of bottom right hand English and just fade back up table into the right position for the 9 ball. And for years and years of me playing, that's exactly what I did, and it's just too hard to judge, especially when you have all this room. It's just too hard to get it right and to get it perfect. And actually, you don't have to be perfect. Pool is a game for control freaks, and you have much more control when you're using 2 rails instead of 1. This way you can change the angle, and this is what English is for. It's not for making balls. It's for getting the right position and staying in control. So when you have 2 rails, now you have even more control over whitey, and you can change the angle, you can change the speed, you can use these rails to do what you need to do while staying out of trouble. Also, if you put bottom right on this ball, there is a chance of you scratching in the side, and you just want to eliminate that from the equation. You'll see that I don't come anywhere near any pockets, so there's no fear of me scratching when I go 2 rails. But the main thing is you have more control over the cue ball. I think that calls for a battle with Jim.
You're so brave.
It's true. How else am I going to do it? Okay, alright. I get a shot on 1. Can I get on the 2? You think I can? Can I get on the 3 from the 2? And back on the 4? 5 went on the break. The 6 does not. Now the 6 does go in that pocket. Let's see what I got.
There you go. I ain't get to that one.
James, let's play some pool.
Hello, how are you?
How's it going?
Okay.
Come on, son, man, come on.
Oh. You ain't finished yet.
Huh?
What do you want to play?
Hamburger.